G'day guys, 2Aussie here again. What's cracking? Well, today we're going to make another homemade meal, something I really like. Of course, I would always things I like, aren't they? I call it creamy seafood fettuccine. So it's going to have fettuccine pasta, marinara mix, bit of cream, and garlic, and a little bit of parmesan on top, and it's quite a nice little meal. The marinara mix is squid rings, prawn, scallop, mussels, and bits of fish. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show, and I'll get started. So this is the ingredients here. We've got some fettuccine pasta, some seafood marinara, which is defrosted, so that's ready to cook, some thickened cream, a bit of parmesan, and some minced garlic. I just usually use minced garlic because I couldn't be bothered mincing it up myself fresh. So that's the ingredients, and I'll get on with cooking the pasta. So a little trick I've found lately is a good idea. I always put a bit of olive oil in, but I used to only use salt to cook pasta to stop it from sticking. But with this idea, I have a lot more success without the sticking. Things like spaghetti, penne, it's probably not too bad for me usually, but when I cook macaroni or fettuccine especially seems to stick to the sides, and I have to just constantly stir it and stir it and stir it, and it still doesn't really make much difference. And I usually just break them into 3 so they fit in nicely, nice little size when you go to eat it. And give it a bit of a stir. Would have been a good idea if we got a fork first. Anyway, stir that up enough until it's, you know, it's not going to stick anymore. Just make sure it goes in the pot. Give it a bit of a stir. So what I'll do, guys, is I'll stop the video there because this is going to take a little while and the rest of the ingredients doesn't take that long. So I'll just stop it there and let this cook through a bit. So next stage is to add some olive oil to the pan. It's nice and hot now. The fettuccine is pretty well cooked. I've just turned it down, so we'll be right by the time we need it. So with this marinara mix, I've got about 400 grams here. This is just enough for me for dinner. Maybe a big dinner, but still, it's enough. Whack that in the pan. Sizzling along now, very good. I'll cook that up and then get back to you again. Well, that's getting nice and ready now. It's pretty much cooked. So what I put in there, as far as the marinara mix goes, is about 400 grams of marinara. And with this, this cream, it's a 600 ml. So I'm only going to put about half of that in, about 300 mils. Otherwise, if you put too much, it probably doesn't reduce very well. So what's going to happen, I'm going to leave it on a reasonably high heat. And when it starts to bubble up and gets up near the top of the pan, then I'm going to turn it right down on a low heat, and it will reduce and get nice and thick. Now we've got to remember the secret ingredients, because if we don't put garlic in there, it ain't going to have that good taste. So I'm putting like pretty much a heaped teaspoon. That's probably enough for that amount. And of course, guys, if you want to make more, just sort of double everything and then you'll be right. So while that was cooking, I drained the fettuccine. Fettuccine is good to go. So what we got to do is wait for this to reduce, or to bubble up first and boil, and then reduce, and then we'll dish it out. So while I was cooking this, I had a little idea. A lot of times, and being YouTubers, you talk to people from all around the world and message them and all that sort of thing and subscribe. And over the last few days, I've had, like I said in the last video, a few subscribers. And you get comments, and I've even made comments myself, where people say, oh, I love your Australian accent, or they say, oh, your accent sounds so nice, or your voice sounds so nice. So what I was thinking was, I've also made comments to people from England saying, I love your English accent, or there was one lady sound like she was from Jamaica. I love that Jamaican accent. So I was thinking, as a little bit of a funny challenge, that maybe someone from another country, doesn't matter where from, could in their next video maybe try and do a video doing an Aussie accent. I think that would be like really entertaining, but I mean, it's up to you, but nothing serious, just a funny little video. It's probably just an idea. Being a YouTuber, and you guys probably all know yourself, you're always constantly thinking about new ideas and what you can do to entertain people, and it is supposed to be entertaining, a lot of this, so you know, just a little thought. So anyway, and whatever you do, don't forget that garlic because it won't taste that good without it. So that's starting to bubble up a bit now. I might just stop the camera and then we can get back to it when it's really going. So that's been bubbling along nicely now for about 5 minutes. I have turned it down on a low heat. Now hopefully, which it should happen, we will get it to reduce. So guys, I know a lot of people, especially with something like seafood, they may not really like it, or they may be allergic even. Well, no worries, because what you can do, if you want to, is you can make the same sort of thing with chicken, bacon. Just follow the same instructions, same principles, and just make sure you add some garlic and a bit of parmesan at the end, and it will taste fantastic. I know my son doesn't like the seafood, especially seafoody type stuff, especially the prawns, but I make him chicken and bacon one sometimes, same deal, and he says, oh, can we have something creamy, chicken and bacon? I said sure, he loves it. Especially he loves his parmesan as well, and a nice bit of cheese on top. It just makes the dish. I find that if you don't put the parmesan on, you sort of don't have that flavour with it. So it tastes good on its own, but that parmesan just gives it a little bit of a kick. So I'll dish it out and see what's cracking. I'll get a bit of fettuccine. I've probably gone a bit overboard with stuff here, but it's only for the video. So, and what I've done too is this seafood that I've put in the pan, I've only used about half the packet that I had. So what I'm going to do too is I'm going to make up a seafood pizza. So I'm going to cook up the rest of that after I finish with this, and then I'll make up a seafood pizza maybe for the next video. I've taken that off the heat. It's come out just how I wanted it. It's nice and thick, so we'll pour that on. Have to remember the parmesan, main ingredients. Just enough to cover the top. You don't have to go too overboard, otherwise it gets too strong, the flavour, but without it, it doesn't tend to taste as good. It's probably enough there. And I've said in a previous video that I've got lots of spring onions or shallots, however you want to call them. So I just thought I'd put that on the top. Give it just that little bit more flavour. And that's it. Seafood, creamy seafood fettuccine. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. And remember, you can never be too Aussie. Bye bye.